Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's talk hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano rods and reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Mexa, and Corey Sandin.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Let's Talk Hookup, right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Sports Grid Radio Network, YouTube, Facebook Live, and the 1090 AM, of course. We're everywhere, right? And, of course, soon to be on the also on Channel 159 during the off-football season on Sirius, so that's kind of cool, exciting stuff.
Cool stuff.
Great show this morning. Eric Cord, Craig Shuman from the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and Ken Franke, we call him our guardian angel here, watching over us from Sport Fishing Association of California, and giving away a great prize this morning. Thanks to our friends at Costa.
Awesome sponsors, Pete, and Costa being one of them, and a $300 gift certificate going to one lucky caller or a texter. We're going to have Eric Cord flip the coin over there to figure out who that's going to. But a $300 Costa certificate you can get a pair of glasses, get a sun shirt, and just shop away, right? You can do it that way. Give us a call, 213-432-1090, or you can text us via the app.
Yeah, JP, thank goodness, is standing by for us this morning. Thanks, JP, for being there in the Code Red thing that we had this morning.
Speaking of Guardian Angel.
Yeah, Guardian Angel himself. And one line open, talk to JP and then talk to the guys, 213-432-1090. Time to find out what's biting, Corey.
And it's all about Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena. It's a place to fill up your car, truck, boat with all the lowest gas and diesel prices. Did you know Summit also is a place to get the lowest prices on ice and snacks for your trip? 25 cents for your first 5-pound bag of ice, or $3.99 for 25 pounds, as much as you want, and that's half the price of others. And plus, with a 35-gallon fill-up, you still get your 100-pound free ice. 100 pounds, man. Unbelievable. And Kirkland Products, lower the store that makes them, and dozens of great snacks, and just 89 cents and so much more at Summit Gasoline. And for Let's Talk Hookup listeners, all the ice deals and just everything going on there. It's right up
great
the
place,
Sports
and the lowest prices on gas.
There it is.
You can't beat it, for sure. Hey, let's start with our private motor buddy, our fishdope.com reporter, Captain Mark Wish from Pacific Edge. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning, Pete, Corey, Ken, Eric, Craig. You got a full house there, man.
Yeah, we do.
Great show.
Sure.
Good stuff.
So much good information, man. I'm learning stuff, too, about some of those regs. But for our last report of the summer season, I was really hoping to have just stacks of information coming in from guys catching all kinds of exotics everywhere. It didn't quite work out like that. Been kind of a strange season to say, but a couple notable catches I do want to mention. First off, I got to make a little shout-out to my friends on the Chronic there. They wound up high boat in the Pesky's Marlin tournament last weekend. The Pesky's was without a doubt the funnest tournament of all times ever, but they had 4 fish right off Catalina, and congrats there, Willie and Caprice and the rest of the crew there. Good job, you guys.
So let me ask you this. When they bagel the fish, which is part of the Pesky's thing, they have to put a bagel on the bill. Would that be a violation?
Oh, to put a bagel on a fish?
We're asking the warden right here. Eric Cord.
Sounds like you're getting me involved in things I shouldn't be involved in.
It's just kind of a crazy thing. That's one of the deals, right, Mark? You got to put a bagel on the fish's nose and take a picture.
I've done many. Absolutely.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, over the years, some of the things you got to do to be actively participating in all the rules there, it's for an old traditionalist like myself, it was kind of hard to get used to. But, man, those guys have a good time, I'll tell you. But, the Masters was the weekend before, and they just clobbered them. And the Pesky's again last weekend. They had really good fishing. And then this weekend, we've got the War Heroes on Water, amazing event for the vets. It's just they've done an amazing job, thanks to Anthony Shea and all their work there. And really good timing because, we got some fish around and we got really nice weather for the next several days for those guys to get out and about. So hopefully they find a whole bunch of cool stuff. And then as to our local yellowfin population, again, it's been a very strange year. It looked like we were going to get some good fishing early on, and that kind of fizzled out. But I think we're getting like a little uptick in terms of biting fish, and it's no big volume yet. That's a certain sure fact. But we got scattered fish all the way from just right outside of Newport to down outside of Oceanside. There's a few open water jig strikes on halcos and daisy chains and the old standby cedar plugs, and of course an old regular tuna feather will still catch one. But there's also some fish with the dolphins, and a perfect example of that dolphin fishing, my friend Mike had a couple hours free on Thursday afternoon. He's got the boat in Dana Point now, so it's really easy to do this. So he jumps on the boat, runs out a few miles, finds that first spot of porpoise or dolphin about 5 miles. They had fish on them, but they wouldn't bite, so they didn't fool around with it. They just kept rolling. They'd run a little bit, get in the glasses, look around, run some more. And they got out toward the 267, and again, looking in the glasses, found a bird school at the very edge of vision, ran a couple miles to it, had time to get in 2 casts. They hooked one on a surface iron, one on a popper. By the time they got their fish in, it was over, gone, done. They never saw anything for the rest of the afternoon. So that's kind of the way it's going. The stuff, it's smaller spots of fish. They pop up for just a second. And if you're there and ready, you get a good shot at them. And if you're not, well, then you wind up with 0-0-0, which has been a very common story this year.
Yeah, this year.
Man, I was out the other day. It's just absolutely beautiful conditions. The water was 72, 73, lots of bait, lots of birds, and we saw, some porpoise schools. This was Sunday. And but just nothing, just 0-0-0. This is crazy. So hopefully it continues to develop a little bit. A lot of times late September is really good fishing on that local tuna fish. And just another little tidbit for you guys want some exotics close to home, big ones. The thresher shark population up inside the federal breakwater there, that makes the Long Beach San Pedro Harbor, there's quite a bit of thrashers in there. Catch the mackerels by the bait barge. And so troll the mackerel in the bird schools. They're on the anchovies, and there's been some really nice ones. Not only just those smaller ones, but some great big ones in there if you want to pull on something worthy. So that's this week's report. Pete, I was really glad to hear you mention this white sea bass situation. I'd have more than a few words to say about that, of course. and the sand bass situation. I'm so glad that there's a little bit being done to help the populations on those fish. They were just literally wiped out, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Ken, you're going to put a plane up. Zach's going to put a plane up this week, and with the good weather, find some new stuff, right?
Well, we're going to take a look at whenever the weather pattern isn't ideal for us to get up an aircraft again. Yeah,
but try and find some new stuff, which we need. Yeah, for sure. Hey, I also want to mention while we're talking about marlin is the Gene Grimes Memorial 2024 ILTT Light Tackle Tournament. It's the oldest tournament in San Diego, and they actually bring back a tuna division now as well as the marlin division. A lot of money, $15,000 in prizes and stuff. So it's next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 29th through the 30th at the Marlin Club, of course, of San Diego. $150 per angler entry, and early bird is $125, and they have a great raffle. So for more information, just give a call the Marlin Club, or call Marcus Hale at 619-551-6521. And Mark, fishdope.com, of course, keeps us tabs on everything that we know. $30 off a new membership to fishdope.com using the code HookupNow, or lowercase, no space, HookupNow is your $30 code. And Mark, how do we find you?
Well, Pete, we're in Huntington Beach. We're on the corner of Bolsa Chica and Edinger. And the phone at the store is 714-840-4262. The website's PacificEdgeTackle.com. And, you mentioned that Gene Grimes tournament. I got to tell you, Gene Grimes, in addition to being one of the most extraordinary fishermen of all time, so it's also the most low-key, quiet, easygoing gentleman fisherman out here in our fleet. That guy was amazing. Anyway, just wanted to say that.
He was the Ohtani of marlin fishing, that guy.
Oh, I learned so much from Gene over the years, not only talking with him a little here and there, but just watching how he fished marlin, being around him and watching him in the glasses. And he taught me some really cool stuff, let me tell you.
That's
extraordinary fisherman, great guy.
Nice you guys have a good week. To honor him, for sure. Hey, Mark, great to hear from you, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.
You got it. We'll see you guys.
All right, appreciate that. Rosie's working today. She's running the border and
trading trips.
Yeah, and then
Marcos.
We're going to go to Marcos, right?
From C4 Sport Fishing to Marcos. I think he's got a little bit to say about their half-day fishing there, man. It's been spectacular.
What's up, Marcos?
Good morning, guys. Well, I'm going to tell you about our half-day, but while we're on the topic, I just want to point out that the Sea Watch, twice this week on their full-day trips, caught a marlin.
Oh, wow.
The pictures are amazing.
Kind of out of nowhere, just a couple of striped marlin on those full-day trips, and I'm not going to say that's repeatable, but hey, they've done it twice in the last 3 days, so pretty good odds that they might see another one there.
Yeah,
and the expectations are going up for them. But beyond that, the half-day, like Corey said there, I mean, that was the trip this week. Lots of yellowtail on those half-days, mostly a morning bite there. They had 19 on Wednesday. They had 27 on Thursday. Yeah. Then yesterday it was back to just bonita and calico bass. So, a little drop off there. But not only were there some good yellowtail in there, there's some good sized yellowtail in there. So definitely keep an eye on that. They're going to keep looking for those guys. And if they cooperate, they'll keep fishing for them. Like I said, even beyond that yellowtail, a lot of bonita, calico bass, nice mix of bottom fish. I think they had a sculpin on one of the trips this week, or a halibut, on one of the trips this week. So good fishing on those half days. Full days a little tougher. They've been fishing offshore there, looking around. Gave it a go, a little bit of yellowtail, occasional bluefin, like I said, a couple random marlin in there. But next week they're going to be going back down to the islands, take a look around there and see what's available. So as I talk about, especially this time of the year, get your passports. We're going to keep telling you guys to do that because it just opens up options to you when the fishing is not great offshore. And we talk about this too. Fishing has not always been great offshore for the full days. That's a fairly recent development where they can go out and look for those bluefin, yellowfin, and the like. But even when that's not there, there's some great fishing in the islands, so keep an eye out for that. The the 1 days and longer, similar fishing, bluefin, yellowtail, occasional yellowfin in the mix on some of these trips. So all around good fishing. We've had some great weather. It's not that 100-degree weather, but it's really nice, and that 60 to 80s, perfect San Diego weather there. So check the website, seaforthlanding.com. We got all our trips up there. Those half days, if you want a shot at some calico bass, bonita, or maybe some yellowtail. The full day trips, we have the 1 days and longer trips, lots of options up there. Give us a call at the office, 619-224-3383. More than happy to help you guys out, get you tripping, get you out there fishing, because it's time of year where fishing is deceptively good in September, October.
And some of those weekday trips, Marcos, super light loads on those half day with those yellows, man. If that's something you want to do with a light load, and you almost might want to make a reservation. I saw like 9 people or something on one of those trips, and maybe with 7 they might not have went, right?
Yeah, you're right there. But also sometimes you may see 30 open spots, and you get down here and we've had 30 walkouts because they heard about the yellowtail.
Exactly.
So definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the last tip I have, MC swim baits. Every single one of those yellowtails caught an MC swim bait. Yeah.
And C4 Tackle Shop has a full collection of them, right?
Check
Absolutely. Thank you, Corey.
Good job, Marcos.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. We'll talk to you next Saturday. And that wraps up our Catch Report today.
And the Catch Report is sponsored by Fisherman's Processing of San Diego, where you get your premier processing experience. Check out the easier online system to book your reservations and for your long-range trips. With more team members, Fisherman's Processing stays far ahead of the rest. More same-day capacity and the finest customer service. Stop by their location in Old Town on Taylor Street, or check them out at fishermansprocessing.com and make your reservations today.
Yeah, and I will say this about the reservations with Fisherman's Processing is if you have a charter, you can't make just one reservation. Every person on your charter has to make a reservation for fish processing. You can't come in and go, hey, I got a reservation for 20 guys on the boat. No, you don't. You have a reservation for one person to have the fish processing.
And the same goes if you and another buddy's going. Well, right. The two of you have
both of you have to make that reservation. So very, very important. Hey, Tim in San Diego writes, good morning. He's in Sierra Mesa, has the lobster season starting opening at 6 p.m. on Friday. Can we set up unbaited nets? Can we set unbaited nets before 6 p.m. opening night?
No, so there's a relatively newer regulation that does not allow you to deploy your hoop nets for 24 hours prior to the opening of the lobster season.
No gear in the water at all till 6 p.m.
Till 6 p.m. Friday.
Till 1.
Correct. Yeah, you can't save your spot. It's it was a bit of it could be a little bit of a rodeo out there when you have that situation going on. So it's good. I'm glad. It's important to don't put those nets in until 6 p.m.
How about if you put your net in at 5 o'clock to protect your spot, you're in violation.
Correct.
Yeah, and you guys will cite.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. And you'll be out there in force, I guarantee you, on Friday night.
We will be. That's a big night for us.
It's a big night. Yeah, for sure.
Sounds like a nightmare, man.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
All right. Good question, though, Tim. Thanks for clarifying that. Because it used to be you could kind of protect your territory there.
Yeah, so people would, they would set their nets and say they were fishing for crab.
Yeah.
Right before the lobster season started, they weren't interested in crab. Up until that day. So we would have to deal with that, and this law, keeps that from happening.
So whether you're fishing for crab or not, you cannot set a net.
Correct.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
24 hours prior to the opener.
24 hours prior to the opener. Now, if you're fishing for crab 24 hours before, you can.
Yep.
But 24 hours, that's a good regulation.
Hey, and over the years, the agency has done such a wonderful job for the sport angler, divers, or hoop netters, because before, it opened the same day as commercial guys. Mm-hmm. But the commercial guys were able to bait their traps the night before, but we couldn't get in the water or fish until midnight, right? So
since I started my career in 98,
things have changed for the better.
Yeah, they always as far as I remember from 98, there's always been a little bit of a jump start the Saturday preceding the first Wednesday in October for the recreational opener. There's always been a few days of a jump for recreational, but before that time, if they started on the same, I'm not.
It was the
not
same.
Sure.
Hey, I guess I'm an old guy, man. Because I remember clearly, and it was. What I'm saying is the agency's done great things for the sport angler.
Sure, they're trying.
In allowing that.
Well, and we used to start at midnight, and that was a mess, and people were getting hurt, and people were dying. So we moved it to the following morning, which proved to be problematic as well. So then, again, in consultation with the fleet, we moved it back to 6 p.m. on that Friday. So you can get off of work, you can go out, fish, hopefully get your limit, go out fishing the next day. And so you've got 5 days to sport fish before the commercial guys can get at it.
That's cool.
And believe me, we hear from the commercial guys every year.
Right.
And if you're diving, you are allowed to get in and look around. If you are diving prior to 6 p.m., you can't grab for any lobsters until 6. And we have all the officers on our boat. They're all in our dive team. They're all watermen. We will get in and
get in the water
and look at it. If you're looking in holes and you got your light, we're gonna watch if we run into you.
But that's what's cool. You just mentioned your whole boat. All the guys or women are recreational. They love the resource. And the reason they get into what they're doing is they have a passion for being outdoors and enjoying the ocean, enjoying the field, enjoying whatever it might be, and so they love it as much as you do too.
Absolutely. All the officers are hunters and fishers. We love and enjoy the resources as much as anyone. And in fact, if I may do a plug here, if you are looking for that kind of career, if you love to hunt and fish, please look into being a game warden and wildlife officer, because those individuals tend to make the best game wardens and officers. Is if you have a passion for hunting, you already know the regs. You're kind of already, you're hitting the ground running coming to our department, because you're going to know the tricks of the trade, and you're going to know who's fishing where and who's hunting where. So always encourage those individuals to apply for a career with the department, whether you want to be a biologist or want to get more involved with the law enforcement. We love people that love the outdoors like we do.
Fishermen, hunters, whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how do you do that?
We have a career opportunities website. Click on there, look for job opportunities.
Just Google career opportunity for California Fish and Wildlife.
Yes, yeah, we have a website that will direct you towards a career path, either being a fisheries biologist or a game warden, getting into our academy. We have recruitment officers that we can put you in touch with. We'll tell you how to kind of take those steps in trying to get into the academy and applications.
So we can kind of laugh, Eric Cord, because I looked into that when I was graduating from high school in 1988.
Yes.
Okay, I looked into it. It was $22,000 a year for a warden. Yeah,
Yes.
So laughable, right?
Yes.
I was like, no.
Yeah, but it's better today.
It's better today. The union does a pretty good job at trying to
So there's actually a warden union.
There is a union, yes.
Wow.
We're a part of a bigger group of state peace officers, and they do a pretty good job at representing those officers in Sacramento, and they try to get raises and benefits for the officers when they can.
Yeah.
But yes, the salary is much better than
Much better. Yeah, right?
Yeah, and the other big thing, especially in today's world, is the benefits, the medical benefits and stuff like that. Those
retirement
things are huge.
Yeah.
Yes. You're
Trust me, for young people, it may not sound like a big deal, but that's a huge. Yeah, an old guy, man, you want those benefits.
Yes,
that's huge.
There's a retirement pension. There's medical benefits, and where you're lacking a little bit in some of the salary, you are getting that, especially in the pension department. Not all of us are great at saving and planning for retirement.
Right.
And the pension program does a really good job at making sure people are comfortable in their retirement.
It's a career.
Yes, it's a career.
That's cool. And so again, you just Google career opportunities in Department of Fish and Wildlife, and you'll be able to check
That'll
it out.
get you to
How
that.
old do you have to be?
18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great opportunity for sure. All right. Let's jump back on the phones. They're packed up. They want to talk to these guys.
Let's do it. How about Robert? Robert calling from Canyon Country. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, guys. Great show as always. Since it's so close to lobster season, I have questions about where you can go. I've heard that you can be inside of Long Beach Harbor, but then when you go to Marina del Rey, they want you outside the break wall, and when you're in Ventura, they want you nowhere near the break wall. What's the deal?
Yeah, so for that, you're going to be better to check with the local harbor authorities if they have a particular municipal code that where they don't want you to fish. They're going to let you know. But the inside Long Beach Harbor, LA Harbor, you're pretty good to go as far as I remember. I know you want to stay out of the shipping channels and shipping lanes. You're not going to want to be throwing your hoops right there in front of Angel's Gate because there will be issues. But if for the particular marinas and harbors, I would just check with the local harbor PD just to be sure.
And it all really comes down to navigational hazard. I mean, that's really bottom line. Right?
Yeah, I grew up in Marina del Rey on a boat, and I can tell you that that's not a very wide passage going in and out, either the one way or the other. So I can imagine during the lobster season it got to be a real challenge trying to navigate the hoops, and so that's probably why they don't allow it. Yeah, for sure. And maybe Ventura too, because that's pretty narrow. Yeah, so all about navigation, right, Ken?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, as you as a former harbor patrolman would know that, right?
There's nothing like wrapping one of those up in your propeller.
It's not good.
No.
It's not good.
The rope would be one thing, but what comes up on the other end as you wind it up is not a good deal.
Not at all.
No. Yeah, not at all. This is, Craig, you're going to laugh at this one, but this is a factor. But I have to read this because it's kind of funny. Greg says, "Morning, boys. Mr. Franke, will the tree huggers ever open up diving north? Mel, Mike, and me want to do some abbing."
Some abbing.
So abalone, Craig, it's been shut down for a long time. I know you, Eric, as a diver. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I was plucking abs off the islands and here along Point Loma and everywhere else. Are we ever going to see into season for abalone again?
I hope so, but it's not going to be anytime soon. We're starting to see recovery here in Southern California, which is great, but nowhere near the numbers that we used to see. Northern California, we had a trophy red abalone fishery. It was, one of those fisheries where you could go out there as a average diver and get your limit. Unfortunately, with that marine heat wave that came in that I referenced earlier in 2014, we had this cascade of events where we had warm water, we had kelp die-off, we had a sea star wasting disease that took out all of the sunflower stars, and we had explosion of purple urchins that ate all of the kelp. And so we've seen massive die-offs of abalone. They're in little pockets where there's still kelp. They just can't sustain harvest right now. So we have shifted gears from what was an update to the red abalone fishery management plan to unfortunately turning that into a recovery plan. And we're doing everything we can to try to figure out how do we get the kelp back, how do we get that ecosystem back in balance, and how do we open up that red abalone fishery.
Yeah,
what a sad deal, right?
I mean, that's
a tragedy for sure. But, when you look at the management and what the Department of Fish and Wildlife and Craig and Eric Cord, I mean, having our lobster fishery, like, how does it maintain such a healthy stock? And it really is. I mean, it's
because of these guys, because they do such a great job of managing it.
Yes.
Last year, we had the largest totals we've seen in quite some time. We had the largest commercial total ever, and we had the highest number of lobsters ever reported on report cards, and that's only with a 48% report card return rate. Wow. So putting a plug in for guys to go out there, get your report cards early. We hear the horror stories. You went to Big Five at 5 o'clock, and right before the season opener, and they ran out of paper, and you can't go. So get your report card early, and then make sure you return it. We need that information, and you avoid the non-return fee. I think it's up to $22, $23 now.
Right.
That's a couple gallons of gas in the boat. We get that money back, or you get that money back in your pocket. But the lobster fishery is doing great. The lobster population is doing great. The size limit, when we went and looked at that several years ago, those folks that put that together 50 years ago, turns out they have the perfect size limit for this species. So ocean conditions have been good for lobster. I think the MPAs are probably helping, and we're seeing really good things with that fishery right now.
That's great. And that's because you guys have been doing such a great job with managing that resource. Eric, let's talk about violations. How much? You get caught with a short lobster. What's that ticket?
Every jurisdiction is going to be different. Each county, has their own kind of court system. Most of these citations or infractions are going to go to traffic court, and each traffic court has their specific bail amount or fine for each violation. About on average, it's going to be, for a short lobster, maybe a couple $100, but again, it's going to vary from court.
It could be higher than that.
Could be higher than that.
Yeah. What about over limits?
Over limits, it's going to depend on how gross. If you are one lobster over the limit, then the fine's probably going to be a little bit less. If you have double or triple over limits, that's probably going to get filed as a misdemeanor, and you're looking at up to $1,000 in fines.
Have you seen that before? I mean, do you have any crazy stories that you can share, like a stupid criminal?
Yeah.
Just something a listener would want to just appreciate you for what you do for your job.
Yeah, no. Over the years, we've had some really aggressive individuals, unfortunately.
Aggressive, we'll call it.
Yeah.
I call it dumb, but.
Yeah, and probably the worst individuals are the ones that decide, they're obviously taking way more than they could ever consume. They're selling it, on the side in the black market, behind closed doors at restaurants to friends and neighbors. And we had one individual where he was very tough to catch. We had our special operations unit come down, and we watched this guy for weeks, and he was going fishing, or he's going diving in La Jolla in the MPA, and he was pretty smart about it. He would when he came out of the water, he would put his sack of lobsters, stuff it in some rocks. We'll go change. Go to his car, have nothing in his hand in case he was checked, and then he would drive off and then wait to see if he was going to get checked, and then we'll come back around, go back to the site where he stuffed his sack, and then grabbed his sack, took the lobsters home, processed everything, and then went around to local restaurants, and selling the lobsters, under the table, and he was trying to make a living at it. And for those individuals, if they're continuing to do it, if they're continuing to make a business out of it, we will catch you. We have some really great officers, some really great technology to use. If someone's being that egregious about it,
you're gonna get. So did that guy go to jail?
Yes. He did go to jail.
Good. He deserves to go to jail.
He was allowed. He went to jail at night. Was allowed to go to his job in the daytime. So he went to work, and then when he went home, he went to jail and slept in jail overnight. So and a lot of fines.
Yeah. And being watched constantly. He never get away with anything like that again.
I'm pretty sure he never went fishing again after that.
And maybe no license.
So that's also another avenue that we can take for repeat offenders or really gross one-time offenders, whether you're commercial or recreational. We have an administrative action process through the Fish and Game Commission where if you're a repeat offender or really gross offender, we can pull your license, either a suspension for a few years or a lifetime revocation if you're a really bad actor.
Yeah, wow.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, hey, we're going to be back. More good stories and all this stuff with Eric Cord, Craig Shuman, and Ken Franke when we return on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Hey, this is Captain Benny Florentino, owner-operator of Coastal Charters. Just want to announce that I'll be running the Camus 26 hybrid boat from West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa. Hybrid being a center console with bay boat features. The boat features a Michael Peters stepped hull that'll give both myself and my guests a comfortable, dry ride. West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa will be carrying the 26 hybrid, 28 hybrid, and also a 34 cat. Heck, they even have some great-looking bass boats. But if you have any other questions, feel free to call Nick Kelly or Kyle Mesa at West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa, and we'll see you on the water.
Take it from Captain Benny Florentino. West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa is your source for Camus boats, as well as Parker boats, Yamaha outboards, and now Mercury outboards. Sales and service, the finest you can find. Go see Nick and the guys at West Coast Marine on Newport Boulevard in Costa Mesa, or check westcoastmarine.com.
Don't be the last one to get one, especially now. The new Brutus Pacific Pro from Ace Line Hauler. You can catch more lobster and pull deeper with the Ace Line Hauler, so you can get those bugs in the boat. Easy to store and low-power draw. The Ace Line Hauler is the highest quality and certainly the best on the market. Just ask a friend that has one. Get the new Brutus Pacific Pro by Ace Line Hauler today. Buy now at better fishing stores near you.
Hi, this is Christy Wheeler with Dawson & Associates Insurance, your full-service agency specializing in boat insurance, including charter, commercial, and personal use boats, business insurance, and travel insurance. We work hard to get you the most coverage for the best prices and guarantee the lowest rates available on all the travel plans we offer. So give us a call today at Dawson & Associates Insurance at 619-460-5615 for a free quote today.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know: CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
24 years ago, I visited this amazing place called Hawaii Archipelago. I just could not get enough of these amazing islands, natural beauty, friendly people, and phenomenal fishing. I knew I had to spend more time there. Moving forward to today, here I am, a fishing lodge owner. Hi, this is Valerie Hopridge from Queen Charlotte Safaris in beautiful Hawaii Islands, British Columbia, Canada. We are a boutique lodge just steps from the Sanskrit Harbor, offering a truly unique fishing adventure. Our fishing is world class. You will fish for king salmon, halibut, lingcod, and much more. Our fishing grounds are untouched, unspoiled, and surrounded by stunning scenery. We are dedicated to making your adventure an experience that will be a lifetime of memories. We will welcome you as friends, and you will leave as part of the Queen Charlotte Safaris family. You will come for the fishing, and you'll come back for the memories. We are booking now. Please give me a call at 1-877-815-2892, or check us out on Instagram, Facebook, or our website, qcsafaris.com.
Oh, hearing Valerie's voice right there.
Yeah.
Makes me dream. Hey, welcome back to Let's Talk
And
Hookup.
Valerie's going to be on the show here in a couple weeks, so
Can't wait,
looking
man.
forward to that.
Wonderful person.
Oh yeah, she's such an amazing lady and runs such a wonderful operation. She's gonna have some exciting stuff to announce here too when she's on the show.
When is she going to be on?
I believe it's the beginning of October, like October 4th or something like that.
Can't wait.
It's right at the beginning of October.
That'll be a fun
first Sunday in October.
But for today, having Eric Corden, and Craig Shuman, and Ken Franke, you want to join us? 213-432-1090. We have one open line. Or you can text us via the app.
We were talking lobster, and tomorrow on Let's Talk Hookup, Steve and Pablo are going to be here talking lobster. Promar, and Pablo runs a fishing boat that specializes in lobster hooping and stuff like that. So a lot of good tips on lobstering tomorrow on Let's Talk Hookup, 7 to 9 a.m.
That'll be fun.
So you definitely want to tune in for that.
We're getting the legal end of it today.
Yeah, we are. Hey, we are talking about careers in Department of Fish and Wildlife, becoming a warden. And one of the things we were talking about in the break was retirement. And you've retired at 50. You're going to retire at 53. And this is with full pensions and everything like that. I'm 69. I'm still working, right? And so this is, and I mean, I know a lot of firemen and police officers and wardens and stuff that are retired and living the good life in their 50s, right? This is one of the huge advantage of becoming a warden is that retirement thing, right?
I agree. The retirement system is for CalPERS. It's a very good system. You know, you're not paying into Social Security. You're into the CalPERS pension system. Really good people over there. Really good retirement system. And you know, it's probably the most important message that I can give to young officers is stay healthy and stay fit. Stay in shape, because when you do retire, if lucky enough in your 50s, you know, you want to be healthy and you want to enjoy that time that you have.
Absolutely.
So important to stay fit. Officer wellness is a huge importance for our department, our chief of patrol.
Physical and mental.
Yeah. We do have a wellness captain in charge of our wellness program. You know, bringing up mental health, especially Corey, that is of a major concern for all law enforcement. Is you know, because our first responders see some pretty serious things, and you want to make sure that not only you're staying physically fit, but your mental well health is very important, especially when you get into your retirement.
That's cool. Yeah, and so you've got your pensions, and then what about medical? You've got medical for life too, right?
Yes, your medical will be covered once you are vested 20 years into the state system. A good portion of your medical will be covered.
And trust
your
me,
insurance.
Yeah, trust me, you young people, that's really important, especially for the future.
It is.
Right?
When I graduated from high school, I mentioned in 1988, and looking at the agency of the Department of Fish and Wildlife, it wasn't attractive, you know. I mean, and look.
But now,
well, look what I did. I went on to the bait boat for 12 years.
Right.
And look where I'm at today.
Yeah.
I would die to have benefits.
And you like me are going to work for like ever.
I'm
just
here.
part of the deal.
My hair can't. I guess I could get whiter. I'm ready.
Hey, a great text from Bill here in San Diego says, are any studies of pollution coming from Mexico into U.S. waters affecting fish, increased illness, contamination, etc.? And is DFW doing anything about it? That's a Craig question, I think.
Yeah, so we at Fish and Wildlife aren't directly involved in those pollution studies, but we are working with our colleagues at the Regional Water Quality Control Board, Coastal Commission, and other agencies to try to figure out, you know, what the impacts are and then what we can do about it at the state level. It gets challenging when you start talking about, you know, international relations and you say you've got the state versus the feds. It's certainly on the radar. You know, we're at Fish and Wildlife more focused on what we have a jurisdiction and authority over, but certainly keeping track of that.
Yeah, for sure. And, so just pay attention to that. Hey, Mike is on the Tribute. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mike.
How's it going?
Doing good, man. We want to hear a killer report.
You know, we're out here, out west, pretty much where everything's been for the last several months. We're picking away here at some bluefin. We have a really unique charter group on here. It's a memorial for a friend of mine, Don Gardner. His grandkids are on the boat. One of my buddies, Jeff Gardner, just gaffed a nice bluefin for his son. So We got 6 on the boat. I think we got 4 or 5 going, and a lot of guys from Ventura County, Camarillo, that made this trip, and off to a really good start. 35 to 50-pound fish. They're a little harder to land than they should be.
Right. And daytime fish, too. I mean, that's a bonus, yeah?
Yeah, fishing for the guys that were out here yesterday was pretty good. And it's off to a good start. I think everybody out here is scratching away. Some guys have had better mornings. There's been a little bit of that smaller grade, 20, 25-pound bluefin mixed in. And so far, everything we've got, I think it's probably 35 to 50, 55 pounds. So they're good grade fish. Watching a couple guys pulling them up here in the bow. And it's just a neat charter. A bunch of old friends, guys that I've known for decades, except for they were all the drunk ones last night, and I had to work.
But the fish are biting, right?
They are. I'd say everybody out here is picking away, if not doing pretty well. It just sounds like it's just guys are having a harder time landing them on 25 and 30 pound than they should.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, so what's the schedule for you fishing? And what
Tuesday night we have an overnight trip that's got some room on it. Just a couple of trips here in September, and then October. A lot of room on a lot of trips. We've talked about this I don't know how many times, but our best tuna fishing for the last several years, including yellowfin, has been October through December. And there has been some yellowfin caught here just recently. It seems like they're taking their sweet time getting up here, but a lot of 70-degree water around. There's been a few really nice marlin. I'm sure you guys saw that thing caught on the Sea Watch yesterday. In 10 fathoms of water or something at the Coronado is an absolute trophy. The guy got it on 40-pound.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, Marcos was talking about it earlier. Yeah, crazy.
Well, you got to check out the pictures. It's on the Seaforth Landing Instagram page, and I'm sure Facebook as well. But it's, for a local marlin on 40-pound, it's a beast.
Yeah, that is. Well, thanks, Mike. Nice to hear from you from the Tribute. Of course, seaforthlanding.com. They can book the trips and find you on Tribute, right?
Yep, we'll get some of our pictures up from this morning's bluefin action. And like I said, there's a lot of family on here, a lot of kids, a lot of first-time bluefin. So, it's already a blast. And I think we got 4 or 5 hanging there right now.
Wow.
Oh, sounds like a lot of fun.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Daytime.
They're all looking at me and asking why I'm not down there helping. But
Exactly. All right, Mike. Well, we appreciate your live reports, and thank you. And anyone who wants to book out of Seaforth Landing.
Seaforthlanding.com or 619-224-3383. We'll check back with you guys tomorrow.
Great. Appreciate that. Thanks a lot for the call this morning. Let's jump back on the phones, Corey.
Let's do it. How about Jim from National City? Good morning, Jim.
The Jim from National City. Hey, Jim.
I hope I don't get myself in trouble here this morning. But good morning, Corey. Yeah, Corey and Pete, good morning. Ken Franke, glad to hear he's around. And I'd like to thank the guys from the Fish and Wildlife, Eric and Greg, for giving their time today for the show. But my beef today, my deal today is closures. And I don't be the first one to admit I don't have all the facts on these closures, but I got Pete there and Corey and Ken Franke. They probably can help me along. But my issue seems to be that these closures come about, and for whatever reason, I'm wondering about the implement of the Fish and Wildlife. Are you giving written reports on these closures before they happen, or is your job strictly to enforce the law once they're already passed? Because these things, we're up against a very wealthy environmental group. We hear about the one from Hollywood, but throughout California, throughout the United States. And these issues come down the pipeline at us at the CCA, which I am a member of, and gets kind of shoved down our throat. Now they're kind of trying to implement one off of Point Loma. So, like I'm asking, is the Fish and Wildlife, I know there's bias on all sides of this issue, and of course, I'm on the fisherman's side, but is the Fish and Wildlife, are you guys implementing just the law, or are you sending reports in on these closures And the ones that are already there, are they ever going to come back for review for opening them up again? But anyway, I guess that
sounds like kind of like a Ken Franke question.
I actually think it's a Craig question.
Okay, Craig.
We'll let Craig start.
Yeah, I'll take this one. Thanks for the question. So I assume you're talking about the marine protected areas that were implemented under the Marine Life Protection Act. And so I guess working backwards, yes, we do actively track the existing marine protected areas. 2 years ago, we released a decadal management review that evaluated the status of the statewide MPA network. And basically what we found is that it seems to be working pretty well. Overall, things are working well. Sure, there's some areas for improvement in terms of outreach and some things we can do. There was a push from both consumptive and non-consumptive users to have a petition process through the Fish and Game Commission where individuals submitted petitions for regulatory change, changing lines, making areas bigger, allowing for certain types of fishing within marine protected areas. So we're in the middle of that process now, and we absolutely, on the Marine Region side, working with enforcement, working with the colleagues on both sides of the aisle, looking at evaluating those petitions using best available science where we have it, going out and collecting the data where we don't. And so that's an ongoing process through the Fish and Game Commission, who actually has the decision-making authority there.
And the one thing you said that caught my ear was something that we've heard from Wayne is the best available science, and which can be really a loaded deal because it can be used against a sport individual as much as we think it could help us. Probably used more against us. Yeah.
Complicated issue.
Yeah.
Corey, you have a great text?
I do, absolutely. And this is a quick question for Eric Cord. He says, I often fish on my boat in the bay with my wife. She has no interest in fishing and goes along and to get a tan. Every once in a while, I've caught a worthy halibut and I've wanted the net. Is it permissible for my wife to net the fish if she does not have a fishing license? And
good question.
From Brian in San Diego.
No.
Because she's in the act of
because she cannot participate. She can be on the boat,
yes,
but not participate.
Yeah, if you're grabbing fishing gear, whether it's a net or to help out with landing the fish in any way, you need a fishing license.
It's in the act of fishing, I guess.
Yes, yeah. I mean, there are things like if you're helping out your kid and you don't have a license, and you want to help your kid fishing like from shoreline, you can kind of help them cast a little bit and help them get situated. But when that fish is on, you want your kid to reel it in, and if you don't have a license, you probably shouldn't be handling the rod.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah, Pete, and one thing I wanted to go back on what the last caller called in about, and just from the industry and we'll call it recreational fishing's perspective, we're going to be there. It is a process, like Craig said, but part of that process is we have an opportunity to speak. So we are going to be at the table. We are going to be at those meetings, and we're going to do our best to make sure there's a balanced approach based on science and have hopefully a good, healthy process with a good outcome. So, yeah, it's not like we're going to sit back and wait for things to get closed.
Yeah, interesting.
And that's why Ken Franke's here for the Sport Fleet, right?
Right. Well, let's jump back on the phone.
Let's do it. How about Harry? Harry calling from La Jolla. Good morning, Harry.
Good morning, gentlemen. My question relates to the fact that throw nets for bait collection are permitted north of Point Conception, but are not permitted south of the point. Why can't we use throw nets in San Diego area? And is there any possibility that the regulation will be changed to allow us in the south to use throw nets to catch bait?
Very interesting one, right? I always related that, Eric Cord, to surf smelt north of Conception, and we have grunion, which actually beach themselves. And I always wondered if the throw net legality was because of surf smelt versus grunion.
I'll let Craig take over the question, but I know that regulation's been around for a long time.
Forever.
We enforce it as it is, but if anyone's interested in changing the regulation, there is a petition process that you can do through the Fish and Game Commission. But as far as the history of that, I'll let Craig answer.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. And we recently evaluated a petition to change that a couple of years ago, so I'm digging into my memory banks. But it was related to grunion, if I recall correctly, and then also concerns with lobster. There's always a few bad actors out there that ruin it for everyone. And so there's concerns about guys using throw nets and snagging lobsters with them is another area of concern, bringing up short lobsters and that sort of thing. If there's a big need for it, we can certainly revisit that and try to put some bounds on it. But I know we did look at it a couple years ago and decided that it was still not a good idea to use in Southern California.
But we have the Everingham brothers. We don't need throw nets, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's we can pull up and buy all the sardine you want.
We're not on the East Coast looking for our throw net.
Exactly.
Bait, right?
Yeah. And thank goodness for them, for sure. Hey, interesting text here from Mark and Murrieta. Morning, guys. What would be the regulations for bringing fish and shellfish back from Mexico that we have purchased at a fish market, such as shrimp from San Felipe or lobster from Puerto Santo Tomas? It's a good question.
A receipt.
Yeah, a receipt helps.
Is it legal?
If it's commercially, if it's legally acquired and you have some receipts, that's good. You still can't bring anything that's specifically prohibited in California. So I'd have to do a little bit of research to see what would be allowed and what wouldn't be allowed.
But shrimp and lobster are illegal for foreigners to take in Mexico. But if you can buy them, it's legal. Probably okay.
Yeah, come back with your
Would
receipt.
that still be a declaration at the border, though?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's
always safer with the declaration.
Yeah, completely.
Have you when you stop people coming from Coronado Islands or whatever, and they don't have a declaration on the boat, have you cited them?
Well, the way we're trained is we typically treat it as California fish unless the angler proves otherwise. If he goes, well, I've been fishing in Mexico all day, and well, where's your license? Is your plotter show you've been down there? And if they can't provide any reasonable proof that they've been in Mexico, then we treat it as California fish.
Right.
It all depends on how the scenario plays out and what evidence we have at hand and what the fisher is telling us.
It might be the reason why you just want to respect your officer.
Yeah. But again, just have the paperwork in order when you cross the border.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just always better.
Simple enough. Hey, we're going to be right back. We're going to find out who's won this $300 gift certificate and a little more from Eric and Craig and Ken Franke when we return on Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Hi, this is Tommy the Fishmonger from Tunaville Market and Grocery and the TV show Fishmonger. I've known Yosef Husseini for over 20 years, and he's the expert when it comes to real estate. He's helped me with estate planning and mobile estate questions that the average guy like myself just doesn't understand. Yosef's not only a fellow angler, but he's an amazing realtor that specializes in helping us in the angling community find their ultimate home. If you own a home, get a free, no obligation home evaluation now online from Yosef by typing in SoCalHomeEval.com. All you do is put in your address and you'll get that report fast. Yusuf is a SoCal real estate guy to go to. He's helped me and many of my customers and family members to find what they are looking for in a home. He understands the real estate market like no other, so take it from Tommy the Fishmonger. Yusuf's the real deal when it comes to your real estate needs. Go to SoCalHomeEval.com and I'll see you at Tunaville Market and Grocery.
Gamakatsu is not just all about hooks. There's so much more, including the new Gamakatsu fillet knives. Once you try one, you'll always want more. The new tools are also very special, including the Gamakatsu braid scissors made with ceramic blades so they'll never rust. Check out the new lineup of shirts and hats, and of course, Gamakatsu fishing pliers and boxes are amazing. Gamakatsu, much more than just the best hooks. Get them at your local tackle shop or at gamakatsu.com.
This is Bob Hoots at Costa Sunglasses. Visual signs are a critical part of my fishing program, from bay bass to bluefin. I wear Costas to see what's out there. Costas are built with advanced polarization technology with our 580 lens, designed to cut through the sun's glare while providing enhanced color to see more fish. Costa was founded by a group of anglers wanting a high-performance lens for every fishing application. Costa has a West Coast style frame and lens for your adventures. CostaSunglasses.com.
Hey, San Diego, the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. Visit your San Diego County Ford dealers now and make it your best summer yet. Amazing offers and great selection of Ford vehicles, like the Built Wild Bronco family, with a deal you just can't miss. Your biggest adventures are awaiting. Make it Ford, make it yours, make it now. Only at your San Diego County Ford dealers. They'll be glad to hook you up.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. We're going to have Eric Cord flip the coin. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Going to a caller or texter.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Flip it.
Here we go.
And we've got, is it a
the caller?
It's, Jim in National City.
Oh, hey, Jim. Congratulations,
Yes.
Jim. You're the winner. Appreciate that very much. Now, Craig, thank you very much for taking the time, being on the phone with us from Santa Barbara, and thank you for all your hard work.
Well, thank you guys. Always a pleasure to talk to you. We're all in this together. Just want to give a shout out to Ken and his folks, also Wayne, as I mentioned earlier. We've just got such a good working relationship with the sport fishing industry right now. It's just so beneficial to all of us to have that. So thanks to all for that.
Absolutely, and thank you for taking the time on your day off to be with us here and answer questions. Ken, thank you too because you're always working. Appreciate you putting it together.
Craig and Eric and Wayne, who you just mentioned, it's kind of like a team, and I'm serious. Everybody in this group's talking constantly for the benefit of the public. So anyway, great group of guys.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Eric, you wanted to go over real quick measuring lobsters.
Yes,
really important, guys.
Really important. That's probably one of our most common violation for lobster season. A lot of folks who are maybe a little bit newer, they don't understand exactly how to measure lobsters. There's some really good instructional videos on YouTube if you do search.
Yeah, so
you do search on YouTube, but basically you want to get that front tine of the lobster gauge. You want to bring that front tine down right in between at the very rear edge of the eye sockets. You want to go till it stops, then you bring that gauge over the back, and if there's any wiggle room, if there's any gap or distance,
it's got to be in a
throw it back.
Good direct line straight across the back. Yep.
When in question, if it's even close, throw it back.
Correct.
You don't want Eric Cord checking.
No, for sure. Thanks, Eric. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it very much. Thank you out there. Thanks to JP for manning everything today. We sure appreciate you. Thanks to Adam for all he does on the Let's Talk Hookup app. And, of course, you out there with text, calls, and phones. Tomorrow on Let's Talk Hookup, Steve Oropeza from Promar and Pablo Fernandez from Fernandez Charters talking lobster tomorrow, 7 to 9 a.m. right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube, and Facebook Live, and, of course, Sports Grid Radio Network.